It's not going to be perfect, but I need to start again. And I need to actually put something out there. I was busy chatting to ChatGPT when I had to just stop myself in the realization that what I was saying and how I was speaking to it, dictating to it, if you will. No, thank you. It was very real, because it's the first time that I'm verbalizing what's been happening. So I stopped that dictation and thought, no, let me come on here and record this video. I hate that saying, by the way. It's so sexually charged, that statement, and a lot of people use it on the social media platforms, especially from the woman's side. So let me retract that statement. I thought, I have to record this, I have to capture this moment. So here I am, and I'm hoping that the sound volumes are decent and not distorting. Okay, for those of you who don't know, hi, good evening. From a cold, wintry Cape Town, my name is Heinrich Abrams, also known as Mr. Hef, and moving forward will better be known as DJ Naughty Daddy, the name bestowed upon me by my little princess Hannah Willow Abrams. So yes, that news must still break on social media. So already you've been given some exclusivity, some exclusive news right here from the horse's mouth. Okay, let's get into it. Sure. I'm going to share with you my thoughts on what's been happening over the last week, the last 7 days in my life. There's been some epic epiphanies of gigantic proportions, and one of them I'm going to share with you now. Just trying to get into that moment again, It's excuse me, don't have any. I was about to lie to you all and say I don't have any toilet paper. Don't have a handkerchief, but I've got toilet paper to blow my nose before the sniffles sets in. Okay, I'm an artist. For those of you who don't know, the DJ part could have given it away, and because of that part of me, I wait for things to feel organic, to feel right. And as I was chatting to ChatGPT, it just felt right. I could feel the authenticness of what I was telling ChatGPT. So I'm trying to get into that space again to share the story with you. It will come. Okay, epiphanies. Let me just get my seat comfortable here. What's been happening since last week Friday? Jeez, and even last week Friday, there's a whole 10 episodes that I can record just off what was discussed with a good friend of mine, Warren Valentine, last week Friday. But this specific episode now is about an epiphany that I had. Now, for the longest time since Friday, it seems to me that the rooms within my mind that have had locks on have been given the master key. They've been opened, and every door that I've opened thus far has led me to a higher vibrational experience in the real world. So, 2 nights ago, I'm speaking to my wife and I'm telling her about this epiphany that I've had, or a realization that I've had. And that realization is the following. For the last 16 years, I've been marketing the wrong thing. If you go to my socials, you'll see it's all been my business, Cafe Mambo. It's been about Cafe Mambo this, Cafe Mambo that. Pictures, videos, events, all those things on social media. But the truth is, how can I expect you to trust a building? How can I expect you to trust pictures and videos and Facebook copy or posts? It's silliness. But you know, as a human, I just get stuck into this thing of that's the way it has to be done, so I'm going to do my best at it, and I'm not going to give up. And that sets a routine. And the thing about routines, once you're in it, unless someone sort of pulls you away to give you a bird's eye perspective or outsider's perspective, you won't necessarily know whether what you're doing is the right thing to do. All you do, well, in my opinion, and in my experience, all I knew was that has to be done. Everyone else is doing it this way, so, and they're having success, so I'll do it this way too. And if you don't know this about me, I'm a workhorse. Once I get stuck in, puppy, I go till I can't anymore. But that's been completely wrong, because as per the realization, the person behind the brand Cafe Mambo is Heinrich Abrams. That's me. Now, as I was chatting to my wife, I was telling her, thinking back now, for the longest time, whenever people would ask here at Mambo, are you the owner? Downplay. I would downplay it. No, I'm just the DJ, or no, I'm the barman, or no, I'm just helping with cleaning and event work and so on. Never wanting the limelight, because in my mind that was a humble thing to do. And I want to go off and explain to you why, but I don't want to get distracted. Just know that was the case. So I've been hiding behind the Mambo brand. Cool. But the truth of the matter now, with the mental clarity that I have, is that people need to know who the person is. People want to see who they are doing business with and then decide if they want to trust that person or not. How do I ask you to trust a phone, a remote? These things aren't alive. They're not fellow humans. And that's what I've been doing. So in the silliness of it all, I can laugh to myself and be like, sure, 16 years, it's taken a while, slow learner. But a learner nonetheless. Okay, so now I've told her this. And I said to her, you know what? What I actually want is the following. When people reach out to me, they need to be taken to a video, like a Genesis video of Cafe Mambo. Let me explain why. Over the past 6 months, 8 months, I've been, I suppose, getting upset in my own space at people, because the question that I had was, where are the conscious spenders? People today, it seems, don't want to do the work. They'll just follow a brand, whatever the brand is. You know, if Tom and Peter and Melissa and Samantha says that's the brand, then that's the brand I'm following. But you have no idea who the owners are, what they stand for, what they represent. So hypothetically, if the owners were to be, and I'm sorry to use this as a very harsh example, but if the owners of a certain company were pedophiles, you supporting that company essentially means you are supporting whatever dark things they get up to, because it's with the profits that they make from your purchase of their product, they can do what they do. Hence the question, why aren't we more conscious about the companies that we support, where we spend our hard-earned money? But it's easier to go, oh, this wine farm for the gram, this new nightclub for TikTok, whatever. It's a place to go shoot some content and this and this and this and that. And promote, oh, I get a free meal. Wait, let me promote this brand or this business. But what are you actually promoting? What are you agreeing with, essentially? And this is why the Genesis story for me is so important. Because when you land in my inbox and you get to a video of my story, the video has to tell you who I am. It has to give you an idea. Oh, Heinrich, yes, we know him. They grew up here in Kraaifontein. They've lived here. He went to school there. He's got one child. He's with the same person for so long. He's been working on his company for so long. There's some things there that can make you go, okay, this seems like a trustworthy guy. There's no dodgy things that's come out on socials about him. And yeah, so it's about getting to know the owner. And that's what I said to my wife. Like, I want people to get to know me, and if we align, if there's synergy, if they see moral compass is the same, principles are the same, integrity is intact, now someone might go, oh, you know what? I want to do business with this guy. I don't mind spending my hard-earned money at his establishment. Why? Because I know what he stands for now. And those are the things I stand for. So it no longer becomes about business or a transactional thing. It's now same energy, same integrity, same kind of people doing business together. The other thought that I had was this: on my journey to wherever I am working towards, there's people that's further down the road than I am, more successful than me. Those people must have been in the place where I am currently. And when they know my journey, they can reflect on their own and be thinking to themselves, I was where he is at some point. And I'd wished that people gave me an opportunity as well. But they didn't. So I know how that feels. And therefore, I'm going to support this guy. And in that, what's actually happening, a deeper part to just the transaction of it all, is that person then starts to actually heal themselves, because they're investing in the younger version of themselves that might have been sitting with some, I wish things were slightly different when I was in that position. But okay, we'll side table that for another episode. So there's a lot of power in doing the Genesis story. And for people to first get to see and know me before a decision is made about whether we're going to work together or not. So that was the discussion that I had, or the thoughts that I had shared 2 nights ago. Yesterday, I get a WhatsApp message from someone who is based in the UK. who goes by the name of Evan. Let me just get to Evan's messages quickly. I could have just searched for his name, you know. 1 second for me. Evan's message to me yesterday goes like this. Hi, Estelle. Now, Estelle is my sister. That's all you have to know for now. Who manages some of the other venues that we have. Wil graag weet of julle availability het vir Saterdag die 29ste Augustus. We need a space to host a renewal of the vows ceremony between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. If yes, what are your costs and terms, please? Thanks, Evan. So, Evan's inquiring about the other venues that we have next door, Meerdam, Lapa and Loon. I replied to Evan to say it's me from Cafe Mambo and from Meerdam because it's my parents' place. We are able to assist. Cool. We then schedule a call. I don't know Evan. Evan doesn't know me. We schedule a call. Ladies and gentlemen, our call lasted for an hour. And it had nothing to do with business. Let me tell you that. In our conversation, we had covered so many topics where we are aligned with this synergy that we both at the end of the call said to each other, we feel renewed, like invigorated because of this conversation. And that's that energy where you're building each other up, that you feel physically more energetic than you did at the start of the phone call. And it was about guys, it was about topics that are so random, not random, but how many people do you know that has studied NLP, neuro-linguistic programming? Exactly. I have, so has Evan, and we could chat about that. How many people know the podcast guy Peniel? A lot now, but back then, Evan and myself, who both reached out to Peniel that time before he blew up. What else was there? It was about church. It was about spirituality. It was about raising kids. You know, the irony of the child does well. What do? We're going to spoil you with McDonald's. We're going to give you poison for doing something good. You know, that kind of stuff. It was such a profound conversation. A liken to the conversation I had just last week, Friday, with Warren. But what was happening in that phone call, ladies and gents, and you, looking at the screen now, it was exactly what I had spoken about the night before. How I wanted to, first, I wanted the client or the lead to engage with me first. See if there's more of a reason than just needing a venue to support my business. And that's exactly what it was. A whole conversation, nothing to do with the business. But we both felt empowered afterwards. And I remember at the end of the call, I still said to Evan, you know, whether we do business together or not, that's actually just irrelevant. Because of what I had experienced on the phone call. There was even more of a mental mind shift for me. And it had to do with purpose, which is more powerful and more valuable than any amount that someone can pay to host an event, either here or next door. And I thought to myself, all these years, my life has been a movie. It really has, and I'm so grateful. I'm grateful beyond measure. It brings me to tears when I pray, when I say thank you to God for this experience. And that's just been another testimony to this movie of my life. How I can say one thing one night and live it the next day. And geez, I wish I had started this podcast sooner, because there's been so many incidents where I needed to capture it, not just for me, but for you, Hannah, for when you are older and you are doing the introspection, doing the work, trying to understand and make sense of the world outside of you, that you have a place to go to, knowing that what I tell you is, or what I share with you on this platform right now over here, this is my lived experience. This is not secondhand information. This is not hearsay. I can guarantee you what I'm telling you is the truth. So yeah, there I've sort of dropped the ball. And I mean, this setup I've had now for 2 months, and I've done a handful of shows, only one that I've posted onto YouTube. And maybe this will be the second one. Not too sure. But yes, there's been some things happening, guys. Some things that you will, when you hear it, you're going to tell me that's absolute BS. Can't be possible. Before I go, I'm going to share just one because it's coming to my mind now. So, Warren Valentine is a school friend of mine. We were both in boarding school at Diocesan College, or more famously known as Bishops. And we attended Bishops in the, what I will refer to as the golden hour in South Africa's history. This is 1996, 97, 98, 99. So in boarding house, he was 2 years younger than me, but we struck up a friendship and we're still friends till today. So we were reminiscing about the good old days, as one does around a fire and a bottle of brandy, you know. And I shared a story with Warren that he had not known about me. So at high school, believe it or not, I was quite an introvert when I arrived at boarding school. All for standard 6, and then standard 7, 8, 9 sort of came out of my shell. But standard 7 and 8, I had created a alter ego who went by the name Hugh Adams. H.A. Heinrich Abrams, Hugh Adams. Anyway, Hugh Adams became very popular with the girls from the boarding schools in the area. And that time it was still payphones, tiki books. So we had a payphone, you put your money in, dial number. And we would call the girls' schools, someone would know someone, phone, and then they put me on. And then out of this introverted body would come this charismatic personality. And I wowed many girls, to the point that there was one afternoon that I was remembering and telling Warren about. We were standing in the courtyard in the boarding school, and through the black gates, big metal black gates, storms about 6 or 7 girls, poppies, blonde hair, blue eyes, light skin, you know. And they marched right to the matric dorms. And I think it was Matthew Battle, Doug Carruthers, Unati Magisa, myself, and John McEnroy that was standing by the doors of the dorms. So the girls asked John McEnroy, they demand to see you, Adams, because up until that point, he's just been sort of an enigma. The running joke was, whenever girls come looking for you, Adams, whoever they ask in the boarding house, you, Adams, is either he's gone surfing, he's away overseas, you just missed him, he's off to do some DJ work or whatever the case. He's always on some adventure. They just never find him there. And this created some frustration, and I'm sure, don't know what they were talking about, the girls now, at their boarding school, but it must have been interesting. So they're there and they demand to see you, Adams, again. And now we're laughing about the story that I'm sharing. Cool. We finished the evening. Warren goes home. I think it was that very night. Let me just check here. That very night, I get a friend request. I have not seen or heard of John McEnroy in 8 or 10 years. I did bump into him once at a breakfast birthday party at some random Risselmoor, something like that, in Durbanville. Some random Tuesday morning. He was walking bare feet still at the time with the whole Red Sox thing. You know, grounding yourself. Don't wear shoes. The whole rubber thing was to disconnect you from Mother Earth, and you sort of lose your purpose or your sense of being. And I buy into that. I subscribe to that. Anyway, he had that movement, him being John McEnroy. That was the last time I'd seen or heard from him. We're not mates on Facebook, TikTok, not following each other, blah, 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 blah. So I sent that message to Warren to say, look at this, what are the odds? John McEnroy sent you a friend request. And that to me is also just testament to the power of words, firstly. And when you're sitting in company, and I'm not talking about by a bar where you get distracted, or where there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different people. If it's just you and someone where there is a connection that spans over 20 years, and you're being authentic with one another, it's almost as if whatever you are talking about in that moment is sent out to the universe, and whoever's on the same wavelength will pick up on that. And then you get things like, this is just my theory on this, by the way, this is not written in stone, definitely what it is, but we can speculate. Then those people will pick up on it. And I actually wanted to call John to ask him, does he remember what he was doing, what he was thinking in that moment when he sent the friend request? But they get a hold of this wavelength, and then the connection happens in that way. So there's a lot of wonderful things in this world, guys. If we just choose to, not be distracted all the time. Work, social media, phone, friends, party, work. If we just give ourselves enough time to disconnect from the noise, I think everyone can see the beauty there is in life and experience these things. For there surely, definitely is magic out there. And once you've gotten a taste of it and your eyes are open to it, you start seeing more and more of it. And I think that's where life becomes truly beautiful. On that note, I'm going to sign off, retire to my bed, and bid you adieu. Hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have any thoughts on what was discussed, please do leave a comment below. I'll most likely not reply because go check my Google reviews. It's just not something I do. But maybe we're on the same wavelength and a reply comes through. Not that that should really matter to you. But I'd like to hear or read your thoughts on some of the things I shared. Okay. Cheers.